Okay. Okay. Hello, Aoife and Liam. Thank you so much for coming and to do this consultation with me. My name is Kelvin Akpaloo. I am the creative director for Eurobug International Youth Work in Collaboration Limited, all the way in Dublin. And we do a lot of international projects like Erasmus Plus project, and either KA1 or KA2. And this year we are doing one of our biggest projects, which is KA2 project called Inside Out, being hosted by one of our partners in Iceland. And so the Inside Out project, a little bit about it, is more about using outdoor activities to encourage and also to educate migrants and young people that do not have like employment, education, and to bring them together. So basically outdoor activity to actually bring the society create an inclusive community and with migrants and young people. So that was what is kind of like click in my mind. And then when we are going to do like a consultation, I said, oh, Aoife. Yeah, because of
Perfect person.
your organization, Peace Builders. No, if yes, and what you do, how you're using sports as an activity, not just also not on in Ireland but also internationally, globally, and how you're doing that. So it was something that we wanted to just basically ask a few questions on around your organization, how you were doing it, you know, and the feelings about it and all that kind of stuff. So before we do that, I would like you, even though I've mentioned your names like more than 10 times in this introduction, could you also introduce yourself and maybe tell a little bit about your organization?
I can go first, and it's really helpful that we come from two different places when it comes to our organization. So, yeah, I'm Aoife. I'm 29. I'm from Dublin, but I live and work in Northern Ireland, and I work for an organization called PeacePlayers Northern Ireland. So PeacePlayers is a global organization. So we're based in Northern Ireland, in 5 cities in the US, in South Africa, and in the Middle East. And our whole message is that children who play together can learn to live together. So our site in Northern Ireland, we use the neutral sport of basketball to bring different people in our community together. So we mostly focus on Catholics and Protestants because that's the biggest divide, the religious and political divide in Northern Ireland. Although we're 25 years post Friday Agreement, there's still a lot of troubles in Northern Ireland, and still 97%, I think, of our schools, or 93% of our schools, are still segregated. Our communities are still segregated. So we try to use the neutral sport of basketball to bring children, young people together, so they actually have their first opportunity to probably meet and talk and ask questions to their peers who have grown up a little bit differently from them, and realize that they actually have a lot more similarities, and try to bring the community together so people can live more in harmony. So we do that through primary school programs, where we bring Catholic primary schools and Protestant primary schools together for 6 weeks programs. We have after school basketball activities, which does the same, but it's more going deeper into some of the topics that we talk about. So we use on the court teamwork skills, communication skills, leadership skills, to bring them together on the court. But then off the court, we talk about similarities and differences and respect and stereotypes as well. So our after schools program is a way of going deeper into those topics. And then we have a whole pipeline of leadership development programs for secondary school participants. And that's really teaching them how they can be a leader within PeacePlayers, with their peers, their families and communities, but then whatever job or university or whatever space and place that they end up in life, that they can bring their learnings and be advocates for peace and change in their communities. So yeah, that's what we do, a little bit about us. And your experience with PeacePlayers is a little bit different from mine.
I'm Liam. I'm 20. This is my 12th year with PeacePlayers. I grew up in the Catholic part of West Belfast, and it was just at a random summer school that PeacePlayers came down and taught basketball, and I kind of fell in love with the sport as well as what we were doing with it. And then when I was about 9 is when I first went to a session that was with people from a different community than my own that I wouldn't really see had I not went. Now looking back at it, my life would have been completely different because I wouldn't have been able to have those friends that are from completely different backgrounds and look at life differently as from what I would have just seen had I stayed where I was. I went through the whole program, so I did the primary schools going together. I was there. I went to the after schools from I was P6 right up until I left school 2 years ago. And now I am coaching with PeacePlayers. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. That is awesome. Like the kind of work that you guys are doing and internationally, and also I really like the fact that you started as young and now you are a leader within Peace Players. That shows that kind of like commitment and the kind of also job that the organization is doing. And I can relate to you in a sense that for me myself, I started as a migrant when I came into Ireland. I joined an organization it's called Tala Community Arts, where when I joined in, I went there to teach dance, but also to learn dance. And then I ended up becoming the choreographer and of the organization. And then from that on, it's pushed me to my journey to where I am now as my career. So I can definitely also relate. So then I would like to go straight to some of the questions, if that's okay. And the first one that I have here, let me take my notes I took on my phone. Um, okay, so the first one that I have is that how does your outdoor education method work? Like how do you actually, like the way that you guys do your sports and everything, how do you make sure that it's actually working?
Yeah. A couple of different ways. Well, we talked already about our programs in primary schools and after schools, but we do a lot of social media communication. We do flyer drops into schools and youth centers and different things like that. In all the programs we do, we have a great and a very robust monitoring and evaluation framework. So a lot of our programs, especially through our funders and for our own learnings to see what's working and what's not, is that at the start of every program, we get the participants to fill out a survey, a little bit of details about themselves, their backgrounds, their genders, and then talk about how they feel towards people of different backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, traditions. And we kind of get a baseline survey of where people are coming from. Throughout all of our programs are completely integrated teams. So there'll be mixed religion, mixed ethnicities, mixed genders. And like I said, all the topics that we talk about when it's similarities and differences and respect. Yes, we mostly focus on the differences in the Catholic and Protestant participants in our community, but the conversation always goes a little bit deeper depending on what they find that the differences and the similarities in their teams are. And then at the end of each program, we do the same survey with the same participants, but ask the question slightly different about how do you feel now? What did you learn? How does it feel to look back of that's how you're feeling on week 1 and now you're walking out with a best friend from the program who you never thought that you would be friends with? So a lot of it is down to monitoring and evaluation, but as well, just seeing how the kids are actually engaging with each other from week 1 to week 6 as a coach is crazy. Like we play a lot of games and activities that encourages integration. And maybe in the first 2 weeks, it's still a lot of banding together in their schools or in their classes or of people who are similar to them. But by the middle weeks 3 and 4, you see a couple of leaders stepping up to branch out and get to know other participants, passing better on the court, outside, realizing that people who are different for them have skill as well and that they can play with them and they really want those people on their team. And you can just tell by the team dynamic and everybody coming together on the court with great sportsmanship, great teamwork, that our programs work. And then they're the kids who want to continue together through our program rather than just for themselves.
Oh, Thank you. Then I think maybe I can branch a little bit to Liam. I think these methods that peace players are presenting, you are a big example of it. You know, so how would you say the method that they developed, basically you saw the benefit of that methodology and you said, wow, okay, I want to keep on going. So my question more now is more like, what are the benefits? So I want to ask on it on you as a person that started as a participant and now as a coach, you know, the benefit that you gain from it. And also, Aoife, maybe also to you, what are the benefit the organization is also getting out of it?
Yeah, so the main benefit for me is I always feel like you're never done learning. Everything you do, you can always learn about it more. So whenever I was filling out the surveys that Aoife was talking about, my answers were always 7, 8, because I knew that I didn't know everything about it and I wanted to keep learning about it. So the best way for me to talk about those methods would be that they why can't I think of words right now? I've blanked.
It's okay.
No.
I have blanked.
It's all good.
Can you ask me that question again? Just to rewire.
Yeah. So the question is more like how, from you starting as a young person and now being a coach, what benefits or what benefit did you see that, oh, by me joining Peace Players, this is what I'm going to get. This is what's going to come to my life. This is what I'm going to, maybe it would change my life. Or did you even think that it was going to turn into a career for you? Or so what are the benefits that you thought you will get, and what are the benefits that you have actually gotten?
Okay, perfect. So I've always loved helping other people. That's kind of been my mindset for a lot of years. I was a volunteer at my youth club from I was age 13 or 14, and I did 100 hours in a year for that. But from I was around 14 or 15, I remember saying to one of our bosses, Joanne, I remember saying to her, because she was my coach, and I said, I want your job one day. When I said, I'm going for your job. Like, why do you want it? And I was like, because you were able to help me, and I want to be in that position where I can be the you that you were to me. I want to be able to help people the way you help me. And she just looked at me. She looked at me and said, I don't think you do. I said, no, I really do. So yeah, I kind of just knew from whenever I was younger that I just wanted to help people in any way that I could. And that was just one of the main ways that I could. I didn't think it would work, and it just has. So
do you think you're different from joining Peace Players? Like from when you joined as like an 8 or 9-year-old to where you are now?
100%. When I was that age, I was probably just coming to Peace Players for, oh, I love basketball, let's just play. And GR, like our
good relations
part, I didn't really pay attention to, which when then I started to grow up, I realized this is the important stuff. I'm focusing on the basketball part, but this is the important stuff that I need to know and need to listen to. So my change in Peace Players drastically changed from I was a participant to now.
Wow. So you went in, you're a person that I would say that your morals, you found your morals within Peace Players, because you, as you said, you like to help people, not just for the fun bit of it, but the helping of the people. And then you seeing that wow, I can do both. I can have fun and still help people. That is incredible. And Aoife, like, what about you, like, as an organization, or if you want to speak on organization's behalf, what are the benefits like that comes to you, like working with like young people, like sorry, Liam, no? Liam, yes.
Yeah.
Working with Liam, and also in general, what are the benefits that kind of like comes to you in the community also aspect?
Yeah, I think a lot of, specifically in Belfast, but also out the programs that we run outside of Belfast, because the communities are so segregated, and schools and opportunities and even sports in general, like Gaelic football is very much an Irish sport, a Catholic sport. Rugby is very much a Protestant sport. Football can be divided as well because of the communities, because you have the Northern Irish football team and the Irish football team. So whenever we go into those areas in the community where it is very one-sided or the other, a lot of families and participants don't really get the opportunity to really meet and understand someone from the other side of the community, maybe until they're in university. So whenever children are growing up and young people are growing up in this community, you know, they're very focused on their traditions. They fear and don't respect people who look different, who are different, and things like that. But with our programs, we see a lot of the time where, like where you come from in West Belfast, which is a very Irish Catholic area, you know, they would have preconceived ideas and prejudice and stereotypes against people. But with our programs, we're seeing more and more that people are open to integrating with other people in the community, to not judging straight away, to giving people an opportunity to get to know them first before judging them or anything like that. So they're like, the communities of, like, people have hard hearts in the communities, but I think it's starting to get better and people are starting to soften up, which is just a benefit for society, not even just for people who are born here and grew up here and who do have that Catholic Protestant divide, but like migration is huge. And we have a lot of new and different people in our communities. Like we have people in our communities who are Sudanese. We have a lot of Muslim participants in a lot of our programs as well. And coming into a country that is already in post-conflict, but still has a little bit of conflict, that's really hard for other participants to come and join into. So because a lot of our programs is sport-based, using sport as a tool to have those conversations, it actually helps a lot of those people who like ethnic minorities to feel more integrated into our communities as well. For an organization, we have a lot of sports teams who maybe come to us for consultations, ask, you know, we want to branch out more. We want more Protestants to play Gaelic football. We are a Protestant football team, but we want to open up and have Catholics in our team as well. We want it to be representative of our Northern Irish community. So they maybe come to us and ask us questions and ask us to do a little bit of training with them. So it's great that it's not just us and other organizations who are really fighting on the ground to make this happen, but other people can see the difference that it makes through our programs and are asking us for our support as well. And even teachers as well. Schools get funding every year to do what's called shared education programs through the Education Authority, where the Education Authority are trying to promote integration and have more integrated schools, but even have that learning. But teachers don't have the skills to do it. So teachers are coming to us and asking us to run our programs for them in their communities and in their schools as well, because they're not maybe trained themselves. So we see the benefit when people come to us and ask us for our expertise and our help and our support. But really, whenever you've been working in a community for so long or in a school for so long, and then the community saying, thank you, PeacePlayers, we've got this now because of your legacy, and the school as well saying, like, there's a school in North Belfast, Wheatfield and Holy Cross. We've been working there for years and years, and I got to a place where the teachers were like, we can do this. And for a school to ask us to leave and move on is, one, really sad, but also amazing, because what we do works and they're going to continue their relationship and inspire other classes to do the same. So it's a massive benefit whenever you start to see the change in language, the change in people, and when people are really building up authentic friendships.
Wow. Wow. Then like with these benefits that's happening in the community, also happening on the young people and everything. My last question, not last question on this consultation, but especially on the topic of benefits, is what about you, like the people that works with the people, with the young people, now also with you also, Liam, that now you're working with the young people and also working with the community. What are the benefits that also comes to you get from it, like the workers?
It's so hard to explain, but there's something about walking into two primary schools on week one that don't want to know each other, that just want to stay in their wee friend group, to walking out week 6 when they're just all talking to each other. It's hard to describe the feeling. Your heart is just so full. I had a kid. I had 2 kids. They're both from 2 completely different sides. And week one, they were fighting with each other. Like,
Mm.
I mean, were mouthing off to each other the whole time, had to be separated a couple of times. Week six, they were best mates holding hands walking out the door. So
Wow.
it makes you feel so appreciated, and it makes me feel anyway that what we're doing matters and what we're doing is needed, especially here.
Yeah. I think for me, because with the programs that Liam works on and the programs I work on are slightly different. So I focus on the leadership development program. And a lot of the teenagers who come in, they don't see the divide anymore from coming up through the program to being in that space. They just want to be leaders and they want change. So from coming in as an 8-year-old, being like, I get out of class, I get to go play basketball and have a bit of fun with my friends. But obviously, from our side, there's lots of learning. There's opportunities to meet people who are different from you. That's the first intervention. It's all focused on basketball and just getting them together. The after schools program is more going a little bit deeper and trying to change their perceptions a little bit of each other and going a little bit deeper. And then the leadership development is, I get this now, and now I want to be a leader and I want to be a PeacePlayers coach to go back into my community and change things because I know that it worked for me. I'm living proof that it worked for me. Or I don't want to be a PeacePlayers coach. I want to work in PwC or Google or anywhere, but I want to bring my learnings into that space and be a peace builder in that space and be a leader. I think the benefit for me is knowing that the participants, they're just like a click in each participant, no matter what stage they're at, where they've learned something and they want to do something about it. That's the benefit for me, is knowing that it's not just that we're doing these short-term interventions or long-term interventions, but that it's actionable. Like, kids want to come, they want to learn, they want to play, but they want to do something about it afterwards, whether they want to continue on in our program and learn more, or they want to go home and talk to their parents about it, or they want to invite a friend, or they want to continue talking to somebody who's different from them after holding hands and skipping out of the room together and getting their Fortnite usernames and continuing their friendship. I don't know. Like, they want to do more. And I think a big thing for me as well, because I was born in Dublin, grew up in Dublin until I was 18, and then I moved to Northern Ireland. I didn't really know very much about the conflict in Northern Ireland. I knew there was conflict. You learn about history in school, but I never really fully understood how deep it was and how it was still happening. It was still very current, even after the Friday Agreement. So for me, the amount that I was able to learn from participants about their communities, about their experience, about their parents and grandparents, is just like amazing. And you can do that on the court. It doesn't even have to be in conversation off the court. Like, hearing how easy it is to get a basketball, a football, a Gaelic ball, a rugby ball, and put it in between two children, make them go for a lap around the hall in pairs and talk to each other. Like, having that element of movement and like how that can change a perception, a friendship, an experience is crazy. Because I know that I can adopt that in my life, that if I'm having an argument, if we're falling out, which we have before because we're friends and we fall out, we're just very passionate. We'll just go, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
Let's book out a court and go play basketball. Like, let's talk about it. Let's not have this awkward one-on-one, but like, let's get to know each other, or let's like put our differences aside by moving and doing something. So there's been a lot of personal learnings from me through being in PeacePlayers too.
Wow. First of all, I just want to say that you guys are so cool. Yeah, and then you
We didn't even need to match our hoodies
No.
today. It just happened.
I need one. I want Eva. I want one of the hoodies.
I'll try and get one for you.
No, I think everything that you guys are saying, and then the impact, not just having on the organization, but also the workers and the young people, is really phenomenal. And I love the organization's name, like PeacePlayers. The main and the environment that you live in actually is an environment where it's seeking for peace. And you one thing I also love about is your method, like using sports like basketball to engage them. Like, I see that sports for me is one of the, I don't want to be religious, but I say it's one of the biggest, like the biggest religion in the world, but hidden, because it's when somebody's playing like Liverpool or these teams are playing, it doesn't, okay, I don't know, you don't like Liverpool, but I support Liverpool. I could see it in Liam's face. Are you Manchester United fan or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Eva, you're Liverpool, right?
No.
Are you what? Everton,
United as well.
United. Oh, do you know what? Let me rub it in your faces.
Where does Paul end?
But basically when you talk about sports, this is an environment where even people from all different ages, religion, culture, every single person is all there supporting the same team. At that very moment, they don't care about what country you are from, what culture you are from. And that is like even as Manchester United fans, you don't care about wherever who is from, as long as Louis Van Gaal is, oh no, Eric Ten Hag is gone, you both agree. But this is the beauty thing about it. So my next question is, with this whole benefits, with this whole the incredible job that you're doing, not just only in Ireland, the organization, but globally, looking at what are the challenges, because there has to be challenges, that comes on in the way that sometimes it makes you feel like, oh my God, can I continue on this? Or, oh my God, like, oof, I need a change? Or, so what are the challenges on a personal level for you as workers? And also maybe you see that comes that some of the young peoples have maybe said, and also as organization working in the community that you're in?
Yeah. I think a couple of challenges. Sometimes it doesn't happen very often, but a lot of the times whenever we send home consent forms for schools and we say, this is going to be a fun, active program, they're going to be with another school, parents are all for it. They're like, yeah, I want my child to have fun. But a lot of the times the understanding maybe doesn't get past the consent form and it doesn't make it onto the dinner table. Being in the primary school program, you could have 30 kids in one class, 30 kids in the other class. So you have the 60 kids coming together, and maybe 2 or 3 of them go home and really talk about what happened. And I think that's tough because, yes, it's so important to have these conversations young and try to bring everybody together at a young age and get them to have an understanding of each other. But I think a lot of the time it's the older generation that are stopping change and integration from happening. So that can be quite tough because the kids, they just want friends. They just want to have fun. Like, they have no barriers. It's just really, really simple to them. But getting that to translate to some of the older generation can be quite hard because, yeah, the older generation are the ones in power who can stop the change and are not letting the change to fully happen, which can be frustrating and can be a challenge at times because a participant comes to a 6-week program, learns so much, makes a new friend, wants to do more, and then the parent is saying no. So all of those learnings and all that experience just kind of fades away. And that can be quite tough. Again, it doesn't happen very often, but you might have a parent that pulls their child out of the program because they're so in their own bubble and they don't want to know people who are different from them, that they stop their children from doing that. So that stopping of the next generation, that empowerment that they feel in that program and that like hope of change gets diminished really easily. And I think that can be a challenge for me sometimes that I see.
Thank you so much. And Liam, what are some of the challenges for you, like in general as a coach also, or even in the organization that you have seen?
One of the main ones is just being present in that moment. I find it tough. Like if I have something outside of work, trying to leave it at the door, I find quite hard. But there's just, whenever you walk into the room and you see the kids, you're kind of just going, I don't need to worry about anything else right now. This is where I am. I know these kids are going to bring my day up, and anything that was in my head beforehand is just gone. So one of the challenges that I do find is just trying to relax everything. But that's not a PeacePlayer challenge. This is a challenge for me personally. I would just
I think it is a PeacePlayer challenge because I know that you've talked to me before about how you want to give, and we talked about this at training recently, like you want to give the participants the best session possible because this is where the integration is going to happen. This is where the change is going to happen. This is where you have the opportunity to impact. But whenever you have so much going on, you almost have that like pressure on your shoulders of, I have my stuff going on in life, but like you want to be the person that Joanne was to you. Like you want to be that person to other participants. But when you have that pressure on your shoulders and stuff going on as well, it can be really hard to motivate yourself to keep going. Do you know what I mean? That definitely is a challenge. Because it means so much to you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow. No, and one thing that maybe I would like to add on to this challenge, like in the next, we'll finish this in the next 5 minutes. So is personally, like I think Liam, you mentioned that you when you're coming up as a young person, what was some of the challenges for you to even trust peace players? Like, okay, actually, let me trust peace players. Let me go there and release all the stress that I have as a young person behind me and just have fun in this area. And how were you able to overcome those challenges in order to trust this organization?
As a young person, like I was never a school kid. School was never really my thing. So I did a lot of after schools. I was a dancer for Tuesday, no, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I had basketball on a Tuesday. I was a very extracurricular kid. So school was never really my main priority. So anytime that I could, I would get stressed out about exams. I wouldn't study. So coming into Peace Players, it was kind of it was like a relief. Do you know what I mean? Like I would go into a session and it's not real, it's not a challenge to me. The challenging part was leaving. So I can't speak for all the young people that we have, but I feel like we're not a challenge to most of the kids. We're actually that safe place that some of those kids need.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I think so I am not very rich, so my Zoom is only giving me 40 minutes. So there's only 4 minutes left, but the last question I just want to say, maybe it's a few lines or a few, it's like, what would be the message you would like to give to other organizations out there that is using sports, outdoor activities, or is thinking of using outdoor activities to engage migrants and young people? What would be your message for them?
I think what you touched on earlier, Kelvin, is something that I've like talked to a lot of people about, is that like sport doesn't have a language. You know, you can make a football out of a ball of tinfoil or a ball of socks. Okay. Over lockdown, we still stayed on Zoom and everybody made basketballs out of a bundle of socks and threw them around their bedrooms. Okay. Sport doesn't have a language. It's one simple resource that you need that can bring people together. Not everybody needs to speak Spanish, English, Arabic. They don't even need to speak to each other. Your body language, your movement is a really important thing in sport, and that's how people can communicate with each other as well. Like sport genuinely is such an easy way to bring people together because it's fun, it's energetic, it doesn't have a language, and it's so worth pursuing, especially even with basketball. And we know with the Paralympics come up as well. One of our coaches is a wheelchair user and goes to a youth club that is a basketball club for wheelchair users and young people. Like it's just, there's so much that you can do with it, and there's so much power in sport that it's a very useful tool.
Thank you so much, Aoife. And Liam, what will be a message to other organizations out there, not just in Ireland, but in the world?
Don't focus so much on the past. because there's a reason that they call the present a present, and keep your eyes on the future.
Wow.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Very powerful. Well, I would like to say thank you guys so much. You guys are legends. It's been really fun. I think if this was a podcast, we'll be smashing it. We'll be
That would
trending.
be so fun.
Do you know what? I would love it. I would love it one day. I would definitely get back to you guys again, and then we can talk about different topics. And that would be really fun. So, but in general, thank you all so much on behalf of Eurobug, and also our partners all across in this project, in the Inside Out project, especially our coordinators in Iceland. I want to say thank you so much for this consultation. It's really going to have a big impact, and it's going to make a big impact, not just on is this documentation is not just going to be on a shelf or on a file or on a folder, but it's actually going to be heard and listened to and documented. So everything that you shared here is definitely going to make a big impact in other organizations. So Peace Players, I want to say once again, thank you so much for this, and also for coming.
Should we do a hands in? This is how we end all of our session. You put your left hand in, because your left hand is closest to your heart and it connects us all in the middle. And on the count of 3, we go 1, 2, 3, Peace Players. Okay.
Okay.
Left hand in, come on.
Left
1,
hand in.
2, 3, Peace
Players. Okay.
I love it.
See you guys.
Bye, Kelvin.
Bye, Aoife and
Bye.
Liam, legends.